take a look at is why I chose Mixcraft in a world where we've got so many different digital audio workstation softwares. Why did I choose Mixcraft? We're going to look at three things. One is why I didn't choose a free software. Another one is why I didn't choose GarageBand or one of the other big names. Then I'm going to tell you what are the advantages of Mixcraft over the other ones that I've seen. There are many audio interfaces, MIDI keyboards and so on that come with light versions of their high-end products. You could get versions of Pro Tools, Abletons, Cubase and so on. Then there's a software like Audacity that I actually like and use for certain purposes. And if you have a Mac, then you get GarageBand for free. So years ago, I actually received a light version of Cubase with one of the products that I bought, and I spent a number of evenings trying to get this to do what I wanted. Eventually I got it working, and even the light version was capable enough for the things that I wanted to do at that time. And I used it to record a 15-minute classical guitar CD. It was great, it was fine, at least when it was working. The problem I had with it was that it didn't always detect my interface, or some setting just wasn't working. So when that happened, it was usually when I was the most inspired to record something. So by the time I got the thing working, I was either too tired, too angry, and unable to record my best recordings. So I had high hopes that I could get better at using Cubase, and I even considered buying an upgrade, but I decided to look for something that was more intuitive, that could do the same job. So I also tried the Ableton, and I just got so frustrated with it. And then I looked at some of the free products too. One of them was Reaper, and that was, by all accounts, that was a full-featured and it had lots of happy users. Eventually, you're supposed to pay for that after a trial. I never did, but I was able to make a couple of trial recordings. But then, when I wanted to do some multi-tracking, I got really frustrated and I gave up. So again, perhaps if I persisted, I would have got used to it. So then I tried Audacity. Now this is a totally free, and it boasts lots of built-in features. It operates a little bit differently from the other softwares, and although I find it great to sometimes use for voiceovers, I can't call myself an expert. But since it operates differently than the way other software does, I wasn't able to do multi-tracking with it, and I don't have the patience to try. Okay, so why not GarageBand? I have used GarageBand. I like it from what I've seen because I was able to open it for the first time. It detected my audio interface and it just works the way that I expect, somewhat. It's simple and effective to get started, although there were some things that I would need to study to be able to take advantage of it more. So why don't I use it? The reason is because I have a 2011 MacBook Air that my daughter had discarded. So I like that computer, but it has a weak battery and it sometimes shuts down. So I have been a PC user for over 40 years, so I know how to do things on a PC. Also, for the most part, PCs seem to be somewhat reliable these days, although I don't really like the way that Windows 10 pushes their software. But anyway, I'm still confused with the Mac, so I'm not going to be switching from PCs at this time. Anyway, as you know, it's kind of hard to teach an old dog new tricks. But here's the story. But anyway, here's the story of why I chose Mixcraft. Over the years, I played in a number of church bands, and at one time I used to practice on a Saturday afternoon. One week I was playing around in the morning and I had an inspiration for an arrangement of a particular song. This was at a point when I didn't have a DAW software that was working. So I knew that I only had a few hours to get something recorded to make an impression. My bandmates were a bunch of knuckleheads. Actually, they're really good guys. So I wouldn't be able to convince them that I had something good without proof. So I started searching for some kind of trial program for any software that would be the easiest to use without getting a degree in acoustic engineering. So I had heard about Mixcraft being the GarageBand of the PC world, but I didn't have time to mess around. I decided that I would give it 1 hour to prove itself. So if I couldn't get it to work, then I would look at something else. So here's what happened. I did the installation and it picked up my interface unit, and that was a PreSonus unit at that time, no setting required. So with a short introduction, I was able to listen to the headphones and record some tracks. Thirdly, I found that there were a number of built-in drum grooves and I could drag and drop onto the track. So within 1.5 hours, I added 2 guitar tracks and a bass to a drum groove and was able to send out the recording. Now here's another story that's a little sad, yet it does highlight how Mixcraft has helped me to kind of do the impossible. My mom passed away, I think it's about 5 years ago now, and I had to return to England to meet my wife who was there. So while dealing with this situation, and after booking a flight immediately, I felt compelled to write some music that I wanted to be played at my mom's service. So I downloaded the latest Mixcraft trial onto my old laptop. Since I didn't have time to practice and learn this new music that I just created, I practiced short chunks of it and recorded each chunk. Now the laptop I took with me on the plane, and with just the headphone jack and the laptop, I was able to piece together these parts that I'd recorded. And I played the result at the service. So any other software may not have been easily able to switch between the sound card that I plugged in at home and the internal sound card that was in the computer. So that's one thing that I really like about Mixcraft. It's kind of a plug and play program. After I returned, I re-recorded this in Mixcraft and I used the same track and added some fretless bass and some background percussion, as well as some MIDI and an electric guitar. If you click the link down below to my site, you can listen to that if you're interested. Now, on top of all that, I had a friend who I used to play with in a band a long time ago, one of my first bands that I played with, and he died shortly after my mum. He wasn't that much older than me, so for Eddie, I did something that I normally would not do. I wrote a song and I actually sang it. Fortunately, Mixcraft has some capabilities for pitch correction, and I use that pretty heavily. You can hear that song too if you click on the link. I'll put a link to that one also on the web page that's down below. So, although it was a sad year for me, I was kind of happy that the music turned out. It was good that I was able to play my mom's piece at the service. Here are 3 reasons why I made Mixcraft my choice DAW. Number 1, it does a pretty good job at plug and play. Number 2, it's intuitive enough for someone like me who goes months without using it and can go in and just start recording anytime. Number 3, it has enough advanced features and built-in plugins to use. And I actually want to make a video about one of those that's called Melodyne. If you have the Pro version of Mixcraft, then it comes with Melodyne and some other things. Melodyne is used for pitch correction, but I found out that it also has the ability to write polyphonic audio to MIDI files. So that's really exciting. And so far I spent one evening getting this to work, and I had a little trouble, but I was able to get some good results. So this opens up a whole world of possibilities. Actually, the theme that I played to start today was actually done with Melodyne. So I'll play that in the outro also so that you can hear that. And if you'd like to know when I post more about this, please subscribe to my channel, hit the bell, and then you'll be informed whenever I add new videos. So that's about it for now. I hope you found this informative if you're considering a DAW. By the way, I have no affiliation with Mixcraft. I'm not being paid for this. I'm just giving my honest opinion. That's it from me today. So remember, always try to stay tuned, and I look forward to seeing you soon.